Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 18th, 2023, and today the topic is resist temptations. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday. Mine was just fine. I pretty much did everything that I set out to do yesterday. So to God be the glory for that. I could talk about my day or whatever, in the after show. Okay, let's get into this conversation. Resist temptations. I came to this topic today. I would say that is partially inspired by the time I woke up. Woke up around 5:51, and I must have missed both of my alarms. I don't know, but woke up at 5:51. Checked out the Strong's Concordance, centered around those numbers, and the phrases that I came across was telling me truly cannot be tempted. And I said, okay. um, I listened to my prayer meditation. I came back to it, started looking up verses centered around it. I went to openbible.info, didn't see anything. um, and then I went to because I put in truly cannot be tempted, and I didn't really see anything. And at openbible.info, went to gotquestions.org, and I came across a few articles that had me to kind of reflect on the fact that God cannot be tempted, but also that Jesus was tempted, but at the same time, technically he couldn't be tempted as well, just because he had the Spirit of God within him and things of that nature. And so, taking a little deep dive and study into that. Ultimately, the topic of resisting temptation in general was resonating with me since it first looked up verses around that resisting temptation. And here we are. That's where the inspiration came from today. So here are the verses that was standing out to me this morning to share. 1 Corinthians 10:13. It says, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape that you may be able to endure it." Ooh. Is that good news? It depends, I guess, on your heart, right? I say that is good news, right? To know that, okay, even when I'm tempted, because temptations are going to come, temptations are a part of life. Um, but I mean, I guess there's a few things to know about temptation. So, being tempted is not a sin. Can we put that on the table? Okay. You don't have to feel or beat yourself up, right, for being tempted, right? You might have a tempting thought, right? Or someone may tempt you, right? And things of that nature. That alone is not a sin. Now, when you start dwelling on it and start thinking about it and start, considering and all of that, then that's where the sin comes in. At least according to what I'm understanding in the studies, as well as, just going deeper with what the Bible has to say about it. So I hope that brings some peace to somebody today, right? I hope that brings freedom to someone today to understand that at the end of the day, when you get a temptation, just understand that that's a part of life, right? And you don't have to go deeper and start dwelling on it and start considering it and start, preparing your mind to do the sin, right? That's the totally different thing. But to be, faced with the temptation throughout life is normal, is again, it's a part of life, and it is something that you don't have to buy into, right? You don't have to subscribe into it. You can resist that thing and move on. I mean, this verse right here tells us that in those temptations, God provides a way to escape. In this moment, yes, I am kind of reminded of, was it Daniel? I can't remember. Was it Joseph? I mean, there's plenty of accounts, but there was one gentleman in particular that Potiphar's wife tempted him. I can't remember the name of that individual at the moment, but when Potiphar's wife tempted him, He had to leave his road, but he left that temptation. He had to run away, but he resisted the temptation that she was presenting him with, and so sometimes it is not say that simple, but yeah, sometimes resisting the temptation is literally getting up and leaving, right? Sometimes resisting the temptation is not even putting yourself in the situation to be tempted and things of that nature. So that's just something to think about. Again, I hope that you all find freedom and peace in that, information. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. So then we got Hebrews 2:18 that stood out to me this morning. And it says, "For because he himself has suffered when tempted, he is able to help those who are tempted." So again, yes, it's something to think about. It's something very interesting to consider that, Jesus, although yes, he was tempted, there's parts of him that couldn't be tempted, and it's a whole thing. It might, blow our minds or whatever to go deeper and think about all of that, right? But the one thing that we can appreciate, right, about the temptation that Jesus went through is that he understands. At the end of the day, he knows, he's aware, he understands. It's not a situation where he's like looking down on us, right, and being like, "Oh, be like me, perfect in all things," and don't have any like understanding for the struggle that it takes to do that, right? So I mean, this verse reiterates that. I know the next one is going to reiterate it as well, but I guess before I get into that verse, I guess the main thing that we should do is to handle the temptations the way he did, right? One of the articles that I read today, and I didn't put any of the articles that I read in the Go Deeper section, so y'all can go and just look this stuff up on your own if you feel so led to do. Again, it's gotquestions.org, and I just plugged in resisting temptations and whatnot, and the things that I told you guys earlier. So you guys can look up these articles on your own, but now I forgot which one what I was going to tell y'all about it, but hopefully it'll come back to me. Let me read this next verse and then we'll see what the Lord do. So Hebrews 4:15, it says, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin." So actually that does kind of remind me of what I was getting ready to say, that basically in our temptations, we should look to Jesus and how he handled those things, right? It was in one of the articles was talking about how him going into the wilderness was kind of like a mirror to what Adam in particular experienced, right? Adam, obviously, he fell when he was tempted, right? But Jesus, in turn, was in the wilderness and was tempted, and he resisted in every turn. Obviously, there was 3 main questions or whatever the case is that we know of that the Bible recorded, and everything he fought with the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. So, I mean, obviously getting into the word of God, studying it for yourself, being aware and familiar will help you in temptations, right? But also I would say, again, being inspired by Christ and doing it the way he did and everything like that can help us as well. And, ultimately this is the juice, y'all. I didn't, share everything that I studied this morning or anything like that. Again, you guys can go deeper. There's plenty of verses that you all can let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But ultimately, I hope that you are encouraged and inspired to resist the temptations. And that you understand that temptations are a part of life. You're going to get them. Don't dwell on them. Don't sin. You know what I mean? Don't get it all in your mind and start thinking about it and all that type of stuff, because that's a whole nother level. But the temptations themselves, when they come and everything like that, understanding is something that you can resist. And I guess that's ultimately the juice this morning. Now, the Bible verse of today is 1 Peter 2:9-10. It says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, Okay, so which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which had not attained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. So, friends, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired, because like I said, that is the juice this morning. Yeah, I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow at the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Yeah, man, we can resist the temptations, y'all. The temptations are going to come. Temptations are part of life, and they come in a variety of ways. I will tell you that. At least that's what I've observed in my life. You'll fight one temptation, and then you know there's another temptation coming in another way. But at the end of the day, that's something that we can resist. Look for the way of escape. Because they're alone, according to the Bible, it says with the temptation comes a way of escape and everything like that. And understand that at the end of the day, Jesus knows, he understands. And like I said, this is the juice. Y'all go deeper about all this if you feel led to do so. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. When it comes to my day yesterday, if you care, I mean, whatever the case is, long story short, I mean, like I said, I did everything that I set out to do yesterday. I did the episode of GSL Talk Show, another amazing guest with another amazing testimony. We kind of were talking and going deeper about this concept of feeding your spirit or your soul and things like that. And so very good conversation. I hope that you all tune into it in the future, whenever it comes out, if the Lord's will. I took a good midday nap yesterday, y'all. So that was good as well. What else? I did have the conversation. I don't know if I consider it to be like a counseling session or mentorship or just a check-in. Either way, it's a combination of all those things that was happening. A friend of mine, we tend to check in with each other on Mondays and stuff like that. And so I did that yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was kind of like a weekend for me, y'all. Like, so it was like kind of recouping over all the crazy or the busy week from last week and weekend and stuff like that. And so that's what yesterday pretty much looked like. I forgot to tell y'all, man. Over the weekend, I did get myself a new mani-pedi for those that again care. For my mom, well, the anniversary. Technically, the anniversary was yesterday as well, so that was another thing, to acknowledge and whatnot. Even though we did celebrate it over the weekend, technically the anniversary was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I got my rose gold mani-pedi. This shade is called Tokyo Lights. So yeah, for those that care. I did that Saturday. That was something else I forgot to tell y'all yesterday. That's it, man. Today I believe I'm supposed to be chit-chatting with my friend over there at Anointed Touch. Y'all ain't seen him on the platform in a long time, Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo, the gentleman that I was doing accountability, the workout journey that I was on, that I'm obviously not on anymore. So but yeah, so I'll be chit-chatting with him today, I think on his platform. I don't know when it's going to come out, but that's something on the schedule today. And outside of that, that's about it. Yep. But of course, like I said, I'll let y'all know tomorrow what happens or whatever, for sure. But yeah, that's what's on the schedule for today. But yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful Tuesday, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.